Hey guys, SeanB. Today we're gonna take a look at the balance patch once again, but no longer first impression, but I'm giving it some thoughts. And today I have a summoners or expert as well to give more thoughts and discussion with you guys, and not just me and my dumbass opinion. And today we got Seiishizo. It's our first time together, so please be gentle. Appreciate it. How you doing, buddy?
Fine, doing fine.
I'll leave a
Waiting
link to
for
Seish.
SWC.
Of course, of course. Oh, but EU SWC is gonna be spicy, right? Because it's gonna be after the balance patch. So it's gonna be
Yep.
a lot of theory crafting from you already, right? If we look at the balance patch, first we have let's skip the fire sniper, right? Because I don't think it's gonna change much.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree.
In guild content, still very strong unit. But the two most popular high win rate unit, which is the fire bison, Cardinal, and Lulu nerf. So what do you think about them? Because I know you use them a lot. So will you be using them the same way as before? Did anything change in your mind about how and Cardinal?
So for the Lulu, it's pretty much the nerf I totally expected. I use her or him. I'm not even sure what it is. I use it a lot.
Damn.
But I think it's going to be pretty good still. It's still pretty hefty heal. The only thing is if it was reset, you cannot use the S2 right away. But still, it's every other or like 2 turns in between, but you can rotate with your S3 as well. I think it's still gonna be a good unit. It's just gonna be less good, but I think it's still probably one of the best supports out there.
I see. What about Cardinal?
I think the nerf is pretty minor. Cardinal S3 was always kind of inconsistent, so people were using it more for damage and the slow, rather than an attack bar pushback or a stun. So Cardinal is not by definition a CC unit. If you use Cardinal as a CC unit, you're using Cardinal wrong. Cardinal's more of a bruiser, so his S1 and his S2 still provide that. Well, Cardinal's one of the few units where all 3 skills are really good, because S1 provoke at 80% is very strong. The S2 is just insanely strong, and the S3 is just slightly nerfed, but I think he's still gonna be very good.
True. I think the same way, because the ATB pushback and skill 3, usually I don't even care if it exists or not, because you either want to land the slow or the stun. If you land both of them, the enemy is like shit. It's really hard to recover from a slow and a stun combined together. And the most ATB that he controls is usually from skill 2 as well. And I think Cardinal is one of the rare units that when you reset him, you don't feel safe at all because of the skill 1. It's just so dangerous. I think for the Lulu, usually you will find a lot of Changpeng. And Changpeng, I think realistically saying, you get 1 turn cooldown reset. And
exactly, so it's kind of same anyways.
So if you proc out of that 1 turn, you still have your skill 2 ready. So I think it doesn't change that much in the turn 1 situation. But for a long battle, then you will feel the impact of not having skill 2 a bit more. If you're going like a ragdoll Lulu and you fight like a long battle, then you will feel it a bit more compared to like you trying to violent proc out of a turn 1 situation. So I think they are still going to be strong, and because Lulu is a war unit, it's just decently strong against Cardinal as a fire CC. So I think Lulu is still going to be strong if they draft like Cardinal, Okeanos together as their main control unit. So Lulu is still much better than drafting a Shushu or Fran or just anything other than Lulu, right? It's still going to be controlled easily. So I think they're still going to be strong, and don't go crazy and like, you know, just completely derune them and put them in storage and never think about them again, because I don't think that's a good move. Because a lot of people will be like, oh my god, are you deruning Cardinal next season? Like, bro, calm down.
You get that a lot. You get that a lot, because if it's just shown in like a balance patch with a slight nerf, everyone is okay, this rune's trash right now. We're done. And this is one of the balance patches that's actually pretty legit, where they just address slightly things and it's still pretty good. But same as Cardinal, same as Lulu, the S1 is powerful. S1 of Lulu still heals if it's next to Malone. It can heal like 10k. It's really stupid.
Indeed. Very scary unit still.
Yeah.
But are you considering more immunity option in your box now because of Lulu?
I pretty much use... I have a lot of units ruined. I have like upwards of 70 units ruined right now, and most of them I never use. But if I would want to use like another immunity units, I have like 3-4 more immunity units that are possible. But I think in most cases, Lulu is still the best option.
I see. What are those options then? Because I think Lulu will probably have the main Vio support set, right? So if you have to build one more, then what would it be? Shushu, Fran, or Chloe, or what would it be?
Well, the thing is, all of them have kind of different sets. For example, a Lulu has to be 100 res. It has to be will. If you go for other cleansers, you could go, for example, for an NFL. Is also mostly on Vio, could be will, could be Nem, could be any offset, but also 100 res. If you talk about units that are completely different, Valajul, which is also buffed right now, it's mostly, you could run it on a crit rate slot 4, crit damage slot 4. And then for more defense build, you don't have to go 100 res, you could. A Chloe, for example, is still a decent option, especially if you don't draft that many speed leads right now. With the speed lead buff that she gets, that gives you also an option to give more immunity. So I think there's a lot of options. Even a Wusa's still pretty good unit.
True. There are more options. They're buffing a lot more support option as well. So definitely more things to look at, right? Now, next up is the Onimusha, one of the strongest damage dealer in the game.
Yeah.
You think the nerf was too much? That was a pretty heavy nerf, especially on the Fuki.
Yeah, the Fuki is really big. Fuki was not used that much in RTA, mostly in Siege. I think it's mainly a nerf for Siege rather than for RTA. There are some people that used it in RTA as well. I think the Dark one is nerfed very hard. That's
really?
Because the S1 is nerfed and the passive is nerfed pretty hefty, because it's going down from the 50% to the 30%. But normally it could go up to 100% extra damage, right? Does that mean currently it's 60% extra damage? Then you're nerfing like 40% of the whole passive, which is pretty heavy on the damage. So, but the unit was crazy strong though. The unit was legit crazy strong. I have seen some people, they had like 35k, 40k HP, and they still one-shot whole team.
One attack buff and the Dark Oni was just like shing shing and you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very strong. But I think it's also one of those units people were not really used to play against. And therefore didn't really know how to counter it, because if you put a bomb on it and you kill it with a bomb, it doesn't get stunned and he just dies. So those are one of those mechanics not everyone knows right away when a new unit comes out, because it's very rare unit, of course. And the moment that people got more used to it, I think it would be like worse by itself. But I think this nerf is pretty hefty, to be honest. For the S1s, I pretty much agree. But still, Akaki, like some people are going to be like, I'm unruining my Kaki, I'm unruining my Suiki. The S2s of them still do as much damage. The passives are still there. It's just the S1 that's doing less damage. But the S1 is more an armor break setup for an S2 mostly anyways.
Yeah, I think the nerf is like expected, because they were just too good.
Yeah.
They make all the other damage dealer look like a joke. Like they have to crit, they have to be ruled with crit damage, and these guys are ruled way easier and very consistent. And also has a defense break. And every one of them has an AoE. It's just they're too perfect as damage dealer. So I think they might be weaker, just means you have to have better runes, I guess, on them, and they won't be so easy to use anymore. And Fuki is pretty much uncounterable in Siege, right? It's just insane.
Everyone has so many. Good unit.
You can build him like 40k HP and he just shit on you.
Yeah.
It's
pretty much the best comparison is it's a Ramagos, but then it multi-hits and it armor breaks.
Yeah,
and it does it on every hit instead of only on the third hit.
It's just insane. I love Fuki so much. I've been using a lot more Fuki in RTA, and just one Valen proc out of stun, and suddenly he chopped the enemy team in half immediately. Because he took all the damage and he returned it. It's like I have a free-to-play... What's that thing? What's the dark thing that the Dark Polar Queen. I feel like I have that unit.
Oh yeah, Lydia. Lydia kind of does
take
that
all
as
the
well.
hit, proc a violent, and just chop everybody. It's just too nice. So gotta wait and see how much damage they do. And I think Suki might see a rise, because you can build him kind of bruisery-ish, and he can slowly become like a Kaki damage output kind of deal, right? I think Suki might see some rise as the main Onimusha, kinda.
Yeah, it's one of those units that are just, you don't have to build it on violent or not on vampire, but it still vampires quite a lot, because all of the 3 skills, or all the 2 skills actually, they all give life drain, so it stacks up quite a bit.
And I think with crit rate bug fix a long time ago, using a damage dealer that need to crit and you don't have max crit rate, it's just a gamble all the time. Like even with 90 crit rate, right? You run a chow.
Yeah, exactly.
You miss a crit and you do like 2,000 damage and you're like, bruh.
Yeah.
But these,
exactly.
they hit the same all the time. It's just great.
Even on wrong elements, they still do a lot of damage.
Yeah, glancing doesn't care. Still do like 7,000 damage easily. It's just nutty. So I think I'll still be using my onimusha like just fine. Like they're a bit weaker, sure, but I'll still be using them just for the sake of not praying to get a crit all the time, right? It's crazy.
Yep.
How about the Valkyrie? I think they might become quite a threat, especially fire and light.
Yeah. What did you hear from your community about Achroma mainly? Because for my community, everyone that had Achroma, it's like, oh my god, Achroma, why did they nerf the S3? I'm like, yo, Achroma's super OP right now.
I'm so scared of Achroma now, dude. 2-turn silence, what? And a skill one that might fuck you up? Oh my god, dude. It's so scary.
Yeah, but that 2-turn silence, man, you can literally like silence lock a unit right now. You're gonna need better accuracy for sure, but you can literally silence lock a unit.
Like you don't even need accuracy, because you pick Achroma where? Into people who run Gani, Champang, Oki. They don't have resist anyway. You're gonna land your stuff like all the time, right? It's so scary. And that random revenge from skill 1 into a cooldown increase. Oh,
I want to see triple revenge. I know Tomato way back, I think that's like literally like 10 seasons ago, he had an Achroma on triple revenge. Achroma triple revenge right now with the cooldown increase on S1. That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
Because she punished all the AoE units so hard. You have to touch her.
Exactly.
You touch her, you might lose your skill altogether.
Exactly.
It's so scary.
So you want to proc your S. Let's say a Changpong is off will. He does his S2, he procs, but he gets counted. He wants to do S3 count.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
But the only thing I'm curious about currently, it's a 20% rate, which is very low. Does that get improved with skill ups? I don't think so, but I don't
think so too. It's gonna be like the Wusa situation where it's gonna be rare, but when it happened, you're like, oh,
it's very strong. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. And like the crit aura reduction thing, who rely on that anyway, right?
Yeah, it's honestly, very minimum anyways.
You can't like, rely on that from the start. So like,
no. But the thing is also like, if it's 30% or 15%, people are not gonna Diana into you anyways.
Yeah,
or you counter Diana anyways.
Onimusha anyway, and they don't care about crits.
Yeah, exactly.
And the CC team also doesn't really care about crit. They do additional damage. So like the crit actually doesn't really matter. But oh my god.
The only thing it's worse into right now is a Lucian Cleave. But to be honest, how many Lucian Cleaves are still there? It's kind of minimum.
Like, oh my god, this is nuts. I think light is crazy. But fire, who's more common, will now have a 2-turn defense break and a bit more value as a speed lead now, because usually she like stand there and does nothing, right? But now she's providing something.
Yeah, like literally, if she, let's say she armor breaks, and then the next turn she S1 into S2 while there's still an armor break on it, the S2 does a lot of damage because it's based on enemy max HP. So if you have enough crit rate, crit damage, it does a lot of damage on an armor break.
And the water is the budget version of the line, right? Do you want to build triple revenge on the water one?
Yeah, the water one I'm still not sure, because like I like for every element to have one unit to be countering like the opposing element of 1v4 kind of. Like, for example, a Douglas can counter 4 wind units. For water, it's maybe a Chow, maybe a Suiki, maybe a Wriggle. Maybe Camilla comes interesting in this case as well, but the issue is still for a lot of those units is just the pushback of attack.
Yeah, the attack by pushback is a bit too strong against her, and the line has no problem with that. But one thing though is the skill cooldown time doesn't care about glancing. Remember that. Skill reset doesn't care about glancing, so like it's gonna work no matter what. So if you proc it, it's nice.
Yeah, there's not too many people drafting full fire teams though, I guess.
Yeah, everyone kind of mixed elements.
Yeah. It does happen, like full wind does happen from time to time, because you could just got a lot of good wind units with like Changpong, Savannah, Sierra, but Sierra doesn't really care about elements in the first place. But full fire doesn't happen too often.
I think low rank where people are a bit more not too sure about their drafting, if you draft a last unit well, that can solo people like Douglas and now Camilla or Rigo, then it can be a scary thing because Camilla now have a 2-turn slow debuff cooldown, so, which is not bad actually. So can be interesting. Like a lot of people who, let's say, run like Chiwu, Kano, Okeanos, which might happen because the lower your rank, the more the tinier their boxes, because that's how they get, you know, lower rank. And they have to draft in a certain way, then you can punish that, kinda.
Yeah, exactly.
They also buff Wind Valkyrie. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
more
that
of a
one.
guild content buff, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not even that, because it's kind of a one-shot unit. If it doesn't one-shot, you're kind of gonna lose the match probably anyways.
True.
The only use I can see it is in the labyrinth. The labyrinth, the water boss stage.
Maybe you can kill the tower and then you can refresh your own skill, which is very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the only way I see it, that it's very good. Besides that, I don't really see it happening too much.
I mean, she's more of a PvE unit from the start anyway. Good for guild, good for lab, good for raid. So I think she's gonna stay that way. But they finally touched the Dark Valkyrie, which is interesting. So I don't have one. I don't think you have one, right?
No, I don't have one. I know a few people that have one, but it's one of those buffs I'm like, okay, kind of, but it's not really fitting what the unit is used for, I guess. True. Because the buff on the Soul Reaper is pretty much a bruiser kind of buff. Whereas most of the time she was used just for cleaves. So I'm not really sure if it's gonna be. Would you see using your? Would you like rather have your Pisama there as a speed lead 33, or would you use the Trinity for that? It's more of a bruiser-ish kind of fight where you still want a 33 speed lead. That's the point. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's weird. I wish they just change her type to attack and just boost her attack to like 800 and like call it a day. They'll be happy.
Well, actually, with
like just do that. Like, why are we not doing that? Why is she HP type?
Yeah.
Are they scared that she's gonna be too OP?
Sense. For cleaving, it would make sense to make a HP type, but actually as a bruiser, which this buff is bruisering more related, having her as HP type is maybe not that bad. For example, Han is also HP type, and no one complains about that. Or is Han HP type?
I think
at least he's very high on the HP.
Yeah, he's tanky AF.
Yeah. So that's one of those units. It just does enough damage. It provides enough that he doesn't really need the high attack base. So with this bruisering, and I'm not sure the S3.
I think if they want to make her bruiser, they need to give her S3 some sort of like team protection mechanic. Like after she do the thing, they maybe give the shield to the team or something like that.
Yeah,
so like it makes sense in the bruiser cup. Like for Molong, right? Like she do the thing and then she give Molong a shield,
actually,
so Molong do the thing.
If your enemy doesn't have any healers and you do, then Soul Reaper on the enemy team is pretty bad, or not the third skill Ragnarok is pretty bad for the enemy team, but not as bad for you. So
true.
And I think it's fixed damage no matter how much damage that you have, like for the first hit on it. So
yeah, like a fixed component, then a crit component. But then people complain that she just doesn't do a whole lot altogether.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you run arena offense a lot, I probably think you like her. Like how people run War Young in arena offense, you're like, we're War Young. But outside of that, you're like, nah. And if you don't care about arena offense, then you just hate your LD Nat 5, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I would if I had one, I would just run it on 555 for arena offense. That's the only thing.
I see. They also buffed the mage, which is like the recent one, which I think is nice. I think it's nice, but it's not really anything crazy. Like they're still gonna be storage unit, I think, probably.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Well, she starts with. The only thing I'm not sure about, can she revive herself? I don't.
Yes,
think
she can.
Right? Oh, she can. And she actually revives with 60% HP, which is a lot more than most other revivers. Which doesn't make it too bad. I don't really see the use of it because the S1 and the S2. Well, actually, I've seen a Dark One hit quite a lot of damage with S1 and S2. So
that one is great. I like the Dark One.
Yeah, but that's mainly because of the passive. But technically, on S1, S2, they should have similar damage, right? So artifacts damage on these things, they do stack up quite some. So I'm not sure if it's actually that bad. I don't see me using it that fast, but I also don't think it's that bad, actually. I think the moment people actually give it a try, you can see some good wins with it.
They don't stun They don't strip, which I think is the two big thing that makes a good unit nowadays. And they don't
True, but
instantly
for
kill
Bruce's setup,
as well.
if you are fighting, let's say, a team that has like these single target kill stuff, so let's say Kali, Odin, those kind of things. The moment you draft this unit in, it's already gonna revive one unit straight up. And mostly a Kali is very easy to kill. So the moment you kill the Kali back, because a lot of those one-shot teams, they easily trade 1-for-1 unit. But the moment you trade one of those units, you get another chance of reviving, or you get another soul stone for reviving. So I think it's a pretty hard counter into that, actually.
Actually, that's true. I use my Tyrannus for that a lot, so I kind of forget about the mage.
Yeah.
So if
think,
you run the mage...
I think the mage might actually be better than Tyrannus in that setup.
Because she can AoE defense break. So the comeback is a bit easier.
Also that, if they don't have immunity, AoE defense break is pretty big.
And like,
so I'm not
it doesn't
really
have
sure about
cooldown,
it.
I think. Because you can just like kill something and then you get revived for free again immediately.
Yeah,
I think there's a cooldown for that. Let me check that real quick.
And you can stack up max to 3 stones, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and the armor break on S2 is 3 turns and is 100% activation rate, which is pretty nice. And then the S1 is decrease attack power, which is not too interesting for an S1, but it hits it's multi-hits, so you can stack some artifacts on it, I guess.
I see. I think the
and the base stats are not bad. It's 116 speed, so I guess it's easy to rune.
Might give it a try. But one-shot team is like far and few in between, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe good against Molong. Because she's
water, against
Molong. And the meta with Molong is Molong, Kaki, Lulu, right? Or Fran. So she's kind of suitable in there as well.
Yeah. I can see it work.
True. I think the win one is still kind of lame though. I don't like things that take time to stack up like this.
And yeah, I'm not the thing I'm not sure about is they changed it to whenever an ally hits an enemy. But does that mean that if you hit once, does multi-hit count, or do AoE multi-hits count, or does it just count as one? So if it just counts as one, it's pretty lame, because then you literally need 30 turns of attacking, so anytime you heal or put up any buffs, it doesn't count. But if you would do a Bastet S2 and you get 12 stacks, then we're talking. But I don't think it will work like that, because then it would be pretty easy to stack, I guess.
But for a wind damage dealer, I think she's gonna die to Kakano before she can even get her stack though. That's the problem, right? If you use her guild content.
But it's one of those units, like if you fight it for a more bruiser setup, and for the wind, for example, is also one of those elements that you don't really have a good vampire unit that could 1v4. This could maybe be one, like Carbine is one of those options, but the Wind Mage might be a decent option for that as well, depending on like how it stacks.
But she doesn't have anything to protect herself. She's gonna get like stun lock and die. That's the problem. Carbine protect himself with the element advantage that he has, which is way better. And he kill immediately. He doesn't need to wait. Like he get to move, pop, one thing die. 40k damage. So good. This, he's I'm not sure.
I'm also not too sure about this one though.
Because last time I tried to stack her to like maximum stack 500% and it's still kind of ass with damage output.
Yeah, and
now she get
ages.
defense. Yeah. Now she's tanky a little bit, but I still think she's gonna be ass. Because this is like stack based on base stats. So it's not a whole lot. Like it sounds like a lot, but it's not actually a lot. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm not sure. And I think most good Guild War team is the thing that just kills stuff immediately, right? You don't want to drag things out and let them violent proc 5 times.
Depends. You got both, because there's also a lot of safe teams with, for example, Windy and that kind of stuff. Windy Lulu. There's literally siege people that make 10 Lulu, so you're not gonna one-shot anything with a Lulu. So she could fit in some of those teams, but
I guess. But Windy is like easier, right? Also has team
Windy
value.
is pretty easy. Yeah, Windy is
easy to rune.
It's also very easy to rune. Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that. They buff Archangle though, which is kind of interesting. But I think the defense break 50% chance for one turn is a little bit lame.
Yes, same for me. Because also a Valajule, most of the time you run a Valajule that's slower than your whole team, because Valajule has just super trash speed stats, and you
100 now though, not bad.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, they actually increased it. Funny. Still, it's not gonna be a unit that's gonna be insanely fast, in my opinion, unless you actually ruin it for that situation where you have like a no-will Valajul against a Gianna, for example. Some people do that. It's kind of relevant. But one turn armor break, most of the time, is just really bad.
Because if you run, I think the usual common Velaju will have a Fangen or some sort of defense break, right? So people set up for Velaju, not Velaju set up for someone else. So it's kind of strange to make him set up. And the setup is in his hard-hitting skill, which should be set up for. So I think the buff is nice, but it's just at the weird place. And with a pretty low chance to activate.
It's also not a multi-hit. For example, Feng Yang can armor break on the first hit and then do a lot of damage on the second and third hit of his S1. It's a setup for nothing really. And also his S1 damage. For example, the units that have a self setup and afterwards do a lot of damage, let's say a Theomars back in the days, it can S2 proc in S1 and then S1 is still going to do a lot of damage. Archangel S1 doesn't do that much damage, so... Yeah, I don't really see the value of it that much, no.
And then they buff the other Archangel that heal with defense buff. I think it's great, but the cooldown is still too long, right?
I also don't really see the use of it that much. For Artemil, it's kind of a buff, but don't most Artemil users actually already run like some kind of defense buff next to it, mostly?
So like Amelia.
Yeah, something like that. But, well, the thing is, Artemil is more of like a 5th pick right now, and for a 5th pick kind of sense to just counter the enemy team no matter what kind of team you have been drafting, it does make sense. So I think it's not a bad buff, but it's also nothing too crazy, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, for the win one, it's more like a PvE buff for him, but it's very minor. It's one target defense buff anyway. And the water one is still ass, probably. It's still
it's just an arena defense stall unit. That's all it's ever gonna be.
The value of the water one is still in skill 3, right? For like that big cut, and so this is kind of minor. They need to just add a cleanse. Come on, like Shushu as a 2-turn cooldown cleanse and heal. Like what's the deal, man? Come on, 3-turn cooldown on that skill. They can just cut the healing and just increase the decrease the cooldown. So simple, right?
Yeah, true.
And then come my favorite buff, Unicorn Light buff. 2-turn provoke. Oh, I love that shit. That is great.
But aren't you mostly in human form using the shields? Well, that's for Amelia, not for the light one, but...
I mean, a lot of people cycle turn, right? So like, sometimes 2-turn provoke can help a lot, I think. Because it's a 2-turn provoke. That's a lot. You can't
Wait, does it actually max?
It's a 100% chance.
100%? Yes. Yeah, I thought so as well.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, it's not bad, but I also don't think it's crazy good, actually.
Sad. I think it's okay. I really think they need to buff the healing of the light one, though. I think the healing is just a joke.
Yeah, the healing is absolutely nothing.
It's like 10%. It's so sad. Even with artifacts, it's just so sad.
Even if you add a 30% on 10%, it's 13%. Woohoo! It's nothing.
Yeah, it's just lame.
So,
but at least now she has AoE Achroma passive, AoE anti-crit, which is kind of cool.
True. That one is better. That one is a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, better for cleave as well. The fire ones has a weird buff that allow her to increase attack bar in horse form when she has a skill 1. Like, bro, what?
I also don't really understand that at all.
Yeah.
Like at first I thought, but it already does that, right? And then people were saying like, it's in horse form, not in human form. I'm like, that even makes less sense. I don't get it.
The horse form is the least value form, and they choose to buff the horse form, which is kind of weird. Unless you're on revenge and like you revenge and get some free attack bar. But I think the fire one should be on will, so you don't get stunned and lose everything, right? Unlike the wind one who get free attack bar. And the dark one is pretty interesting. I think for RT it's not valuable though, but for Gil as a tank, I think it's great.
Well, I think against you don't see it much, but against Lucian Cleaves,
can be interesting.
I think it can be pretty decent. Or the moment also the one-shot Cleaves, you don't want to S3 Molong on an Alexandra right now. You think
overrun Alexandra and your team die.
Yeah, exactly. And Alexandra's technically really easy to ruin because you can just go triple HP slot 2, 4, and 6. You go crit damage from your artifacts. You don't even need crit rate. And if the enemy team has no healers whatsoever, the moment they kill Alexandra, their team is also dead.
I want to see that video where it's just Alexandra alone left in the team and somebody on the other side just trying to kill her and everything die on their side.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Like 20% is not that much, but I think it might happen against some squishy units that...
Yeah, if they cleave, right? So like they should have like 15k HP max and they pop a 40k on Alexandra. It's going to be funny to see.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually... That would be one of the few where you can actually say like, hey, reflect artifacts makes sense.
But it's gone now, right?
It is gone, but I think some people that have Alexandra since artifacts came out, they probably have saved a few.
True. And now we have the Pioneer, which is a very interesting change from inflict damage proportionate to your max HP to a raw HP kind of damage, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really curious how much damage it's going to do, because if it's just purely 20% of your max HP, or do you still get the defense or armor break check kind of thing afterwards?
I think it's raw. That's the only way to make it better. Maybe.
Yeah, because otherwise I think you do similar to same damage, actually.
Really? I mean, if you run speed HP on a Wusa and you do like skill 2, you probably do like 3k. But if you have like 40k HP now, you're going to do like 8k, which is pretty nice.
That's only if they just take the number like straight up, like 20% of your max HP. I'm not sure if they're going to do that.
I think that's the way. I mean, it's still not a whole lot of damage, and it loses value over time in RTA. So it has to be raw, right? Because
I think so as well. Otherwise, it's pretty weak. It's barely even a change.
If you take a look at Miles, the Water Sky Surfer, he's also underrated damage dealer. I think like he can do like raw 8 to 10,000 damage every turn, ignore defense. But he's still kind of underrated, even though I think who used it? Shit, what's his name? Fuck, Big V. Oh my god, that thing hit 10k. He got super speed in that thing. So hard. Yeah,
but still, that draft was, in my opinion, still like kind of weird. It worked out, but it was like I felt like it didn't do anything.
I think it's a one-trick draft, but it worked.
Yeah.
So worth it, right? You just need to win one time.
Yeah, true.
That's all you need.
True.
Zero will and like just scare you a little bit, because Thompson looks so shocked. He's like, oh shit, what do I do?
His face was the funniest part of the whole
how do I draft my 5th pick when I don't know what the hell is going on? So exactly. he's just lost. And then we have the damage increase, which is kind of meaningless. We have a pungbaek draft.
What? I actually think for Chiwu is mostly, it doesn't do too much after the initial strip. So I think that's a pretty good buff for Chiwu.
Some
to
extra
do more
damage
from yes too.
Yeah, a little bit extra right there. Not bad, but not too crazy. Nothing changed pretty much about the unit, I think. Then they buff damage for pungbaek as well. A fat 20% buff, which is like, ooh.
I think he's gonna come back for... I fed mine
Arena?
twice.
Wow.
New
unique. One?
I fed a lot of uniques, I don't care. But I think for Arena offense, he can be pretty good.
Yeah, because he ignore elements when the splash damage happens.
Yep.
And you only need 1 defense break, so it's kind of good. And he awakened into crit rate too. He's a great arena offense unit that you can use. He's just good for cleave. It's amazing. Especially for nowadays, people run a lot of fucking passive like Molly Kinky. He just need to crit once and they all want to die to him.
Yeah. Wait, what happens if you crit something else? Do you still do 50% of that damage no matter you crit or not? Let's say a Kinky?
Yeah. It's raw. It doesn't crit.
Yeah, I guess so as well. The interesting thing is you could go... I'm not sure how it works out, but you technically need 1 unit that strip armor breaks. Let's say a Dark Monkey. That's the only one I can think of right now. But you can use a very different kind of setup where you just armor break strip 1 unit. That's
for
maybe
RTA?
1 unit can do. Not necessarily for RTA, more for
I mean, you just
offense.
use a Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren is an option. Solely an option.
But I still think you still go with a normal setup, bro, because you might miss with you using single target. But for budget, right, you can run like pungbaek, Lauren, Megan, and the last unit can be, some backup, strip defense break, and then you can kill everything with just 1 strip defense break. But Lauren is kind of iffy about that. Another one will be the water stone guy. What's the name? Fuck. The Skogo, water Skogo.
Oh,
he can strip death break.
Really? Didn't even know. Too free to play for me.
Fucking pay to win player. Yeah, he can strip death break, but he's water, so it's a bit more limited. And usually you want to do that on a Triana, on arena defense. You want to hit the Triana, not hit the other thing. So yeah, Lauren, Megan, pungbaek, and +1, probably speed lead or something like that. And you
I was actually thinking about something that you have speed leads, something to outspeed Tritons. So you need a 33 speed lead, a Kabila, then one unit that kind of strips armor breaks and attack buffs in one. That's maybe a bit much. And then pungbaek.
Tough.
But yeah, that's something I'm thinking of. Probably there's something that fits in that you can actually, because it's very difficult to outspeed a 33 lead plus a Triton and still dish out enough damage if they go like anti-Lucian, for example. So maybe he can fit in a role somewhere there.
I think it's more for like bruiser comp if you want to run pungbaek, honestly, like the slow cleave comp.
But the thing is, for bruiser comps, there are already so many good options. Technically, Poseidon and Kaki are the best options you're gonna find.
But still, you know,
just those two together with Galleon and Tiana pretty much kills everything that's like HP lead mollies and everything.
What if you see a fucking 300 speed pungbaek in RTA and then you get cleaved by it? That can be funny too.
Could happen, but I don't see that pungbaek actually doing enough damage to kill anything.
True.
Could happen.
Because
maybe it can
so
kill
fast, you can do damage.
Yeah, maybe it can kill Squishy Pisama, but that's about it.
And then we have irrelevant silphid water random buff that nobody uses
I
unit
don't
anymore.
Even know.
But silphid light who buff defense and now buff immunity, which is kind of nice for Fang Game user if you have her.
Yep. Yeah, Fanging Artemil, that's where she was used sometimes. Arena defense, siege defense.
Yeah. But I think one of the biggest buff is Anubis win branding after revive. Oh, it's sick. It's so sick. I think it's going to be one of the best R5 really unit in the game. Or if not, you know, the must-have R5 in the game.
Yeah, I think for solo R5, it's definitely a unit that fits in there. But also a lot of siege teams, but also a lot of RTA teams, they have no... if they have no healers, it can be one of those units that no matter if it dies or not, it can do a lot of stuff. Because you can actually do your S2 on revive, and then you can do your S2 again on that same target. And the S2, besides branding and oblivion, it also does more damage based on lower HP. So you have a good chance to nuke out a unit.
True. I think for most player, you can start. If you have this unit, you don't even need good runes on it. You just need like 5 runes, white 5 runes, and put it in your R5 team. It's gonna die, come back, branding, and you will do so much more damage than you used to do, which is really good. It's a cheat code for like R5 starter comp. Yeah,
I think so as well. I'm not gonna be sure if I use it in my comp because I'm currently running R5 and it's already like 26, 27 seconds.
All right, okay, buddy. But come on, nobody asked about that, bro. Come on.
No. I'm talking about saving frames rather than killing the thing. Because if you already kill the thing, you don't need to overkill the thing, right? So then you're just thinking about like, okay, can it be more consistent? And can I do it faster? So you have to save frames. So for that sense, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna take like
really there.
a couple seconds more to like do the branding thing. So a lot of people think that it's gonna desync my R5 with other people. If you have the Gora insurance, which is the Gora moving in front of your Viking, then I think that's gonna be the one that's gonna help your team sync with somebody using the Anubis for like new player who cannot break into R5 quick enough because you still lack damage and tower. This guy can be the savior for you if you are using him or your friends are using him, which is great. And then
what's the rate of the branding actually?
It's not bad. It's like 60%, 3 hits.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't say it's. Yeah, I'm not sure like how much that ends up with, but I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think if like 2 of the 3 people in R5 have him, it should be pretty consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other guy can run like, the other guy just need the Gora insurance and you should be okay. Dude, they buffed the Sky Dancer Fire to have defense break. I think she could have been one of the best PvE healers, but then her AI is pretty garbage, so it's like, no. She could have been one of the best healer in the game for PvE. Because she's a damage dealer and attack buff and healing and defense break is so good. And then no, Comtesse be like, nah, you're gonna be stupid. Sad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the thing is the S3 is, I think it shoots off 5 blades or 4 blades randomly with a 30% chance to armor break. So best case scenario, you're gonna armor break 2 out of 4.
Yeah,
or
but for bosses, which is alone,
3.
that should be pretty consistent.
True.
Yeah,
but
it's just so sad.
Yeah.
She's stupid.
So. Yeah, I think just very good for the Wind Rift.
Yeah, that's I mean, she got like slightly better for Wind Rift, and that's about it. And then it randomly throw in a 5% buff for War Young for absolutely no reason, which is kind of weird. I mean, it makes speed tuning a bit easier, but like,
yeah, I think it's not bad for speed tuning. I think it's pretty decent.
Do you know that she's supposed to get ignore defense in skill 3 fucking 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they removed that because that was too OP to have a self-buffing attack unit. Self-buff attack! Self-buff attack with ignore defense. What are you talking about?
But then
with a 28 speed lead. That's OP, man. Go away.
Oh my god, dude. Fuck. It's so sad. I really want to take away her skill 3, like make it a passive. Now she's like half-half.
Yeah.
She's a HP healing, which is absolute dog shit. And then she has a skill 3 to scale with attack. Like, bruh. Like the Annabelle situation, you know? And now Annabelle scale with HP. It's so nice. But yeah, she's just weird. But she's the best booster for cleave. Like, no argument there.
Definitely.
But if you're not cleaving, then she's a trophy that doesn't really do a whole lot, which is kind of sad. I pick the math over her in RTA all the time.
I think she's a very good unit. Just her plus Bernard is pretty much the easiest way to outspeed things.
True. Yeah, like just the best cleave booster. Upgrade to Bastet. Awesome. But
with the speed lead.
If you don't cleave, then it's like kind of sad. I don't know.
True.
Like if you use her against Bruiser and RTA, and then she doesn't do anything.
She's gotta do nothing.
And if you use her to try to outspeed people in RTA, she has lower base speed than most turn 1 unit, so she's also gonna get outsped easily.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of sad. Anyway. They buffed two LD that I have though, which is kind of coincidence, you know, kind of weird.
Same for me. They're just buffing LDs from streamers. I'm not sure what's happening.
Wait, what do you have?
I have Nigong and I have Grogen.
Oh, they did buff Grogen? Oh, they did? Wait, what is the Grogen buff?
We skipped
Wait,
over
I
both
skipped
of them.
Grogen? Oh, he's just blend in. I have no idea. Oh, are you excited that Grogen will now ignore Triana?
But yeah, the Grogen is just gonna be a good cleave unit. And the only thing it is better for right now is ignoring the death thing from Triana, I guess. I guess it's the only increase like next to his damage increase.
Yeah, that's about it, right? Triana.
Yeah, because otherwise, like Vanessa's, you would have already counted with your anti-revive. Same for Pisamas, and I don't think you're gonna one-shot Beast Riders. They're still gonna get dehorsed. And it's just a fun unit against Triana right now. That's about it. And then we have the Nigong S3 becoming a kind of Darien S3 the moment it's off or like on cooldown.
True.
I'm
you like
not
that?
Really sure about that. It's weird. Like the Heavenly Protect, it's such a weak revive. It revives with 0 attack bar and like 15% HP. It's a little bit more, but it's like really
very
low.
Easy die, right? Everyone's gonna die again anyway.
You just die again. Yeah, you just get outsped because the other ones are on like higher attack bar after killing you anyways. Or you just die by having too little HP. And Soul Protect as a skill itself, like the buff is pretty weak too. So I don't really see the benefits of it that much.
Not even on arena defense?
Yeah, I guess just arena defense. But to be honest, I tried a lot of arena defense. I've been rushing for I don't know how long. I don't really get better results with Nigong in defense. Like I legit sometimes get better results with other units in defense. So it's not even a optimal defense unit.
Like a Nemesis Lulu.
Yeah, well, for example, I tried Nemesis Lulu once and it actually worked pretty well. So.
Weird.
Yeah.
Ay, poor guy. Nigong, still sad.
Well, yeah, it depends on the S2. The S2 can potentially heal a lot if you put artifacts that have extra recovery on the S2 as well. So it becomes a bit more of a healer unit as well. So I guess that's interesting.
What would you like if they make the skill 1 sleep 1 turn but higher chance to activate? like succubus type.
Would be nice. Would be nice. I think it's decent for all pioneers, to be honest, to have that.
Yeah, because like now when it happened, it's like so tilting for the enemy, but it's so rare. It's like you land it, you strike lottery or something. It's crazy.
Exactly. And then the moment you see it like resisted, and you're like, yo, I could have landed 2 turns sleep.
Sad. Now we're vampire. Oh, they're touching vampire. They're touching all the vampire except for Vert, because you know Vert is OP.
Yeah, Vert already good.
Do you think water vampire is gonna be the anti-Kakano in Siege?
No, I don't think so.
Wait,
no.
Sag? Because low chance to defense, right?
Not even, well, besides that, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm gonna like do a lot of damage with additional damage artifacts because it hits 5 times. Makes sense. And you don't have to put crit rates, so you always crit. Makes sense. But crit damage and additional damage artifacts don't go together. They're like 2 separate like damage checks, so it doesn't like boost each other. So it's not.
Might so just go crit damage, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But the issue is, I tried, for example, when Carl was buffed. Carl also ignores like damage or like the revives and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I thought like I make a really good Carl, and I tried to one-shot a Kakano. You can do that if you put your best Lucian set on that with like 0 HP, and then you put an attack buff. Then you can one-shot it maybe without an armor break, but maybe. So I kind of feel like the water vampire is gonna be on similar level. Like, sure, it can maybe get close to killing it, but it wouldn't kill it or something. It's not gonna be one-shotting anything. Yeah,
I stopped using the car as well, because people just put anti-dark damage, and you're like, ah, shit. Suddenly you do 10,000 less, and you're like, oops, my bad, and you die.
Yeah, exactly. And Carcano is mostly anti-water or anti-fire anyways, so
so it's gonna be
I don't really see it helping too much. Sure, it can work here and there, but you still need to build your vampire as a bruiser unit, because Fuki is gonna destroy your vampire.
True. I think a lot of things we say that wouldn't work might work lower rank, because artifact is bad and runes are different. So it can work. It's just that in higher rank, it takes much more consideration into something that's actually going to work. That's why you see people build the same unit, but multiple of them. Because they find something that works, they just replicate that. And they don't want to mess around with shit that may work, because you don't want to lose in higher rank. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And 20% defense break. If you land in the first hit, cool. You land in the last hit, oh shit. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is the Han defense break chance? It's pretty good, right? 60?
Oh, isn't it like 50 or 60? Yeah.
And even sometimes you see Han death break like in the later hits, and it's like you can't kill anything. But this is 20%. It might go up to 30, but wouldn't put my hopes too high over there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they buff Wind Vampire to be more like Crow, which is cool. They also buff Vampire down to strip a bit more, which is cool. They buff Light Vampire to cleanse himself, though, which is kind of interesting. But this guy's kind of underused, right, in RTA most of the part.
Yeah, the big question for me is that on dot, he dies, which is not really worded in the passive, because the passive just says, like, on death, you would take like HP from someone else. So technically, by the wording of the passive, you should not die by a dot. So I am not sure if this thing is gonna cleanse the dot before it dies, or it dies to the dot still. And I actually think it still dies to the dot, which makes it pretty bad.
Would Veramos cleanse the dot or take the damage? Because I know Veramos died to a bomb, right? If the bomb is 1 turn.
Does he though? I'm not sure, but it just depends. Some units like Chow before was healing like after turn, and currently it's healing before turn, or cleansing before turn. So it kind of depends on the unit. Some units cleanse or do stuff before, some do it after. I think we just have to test. There's a lot of speculating by amongst like a lot of people on this one, but I think we just have to test. Simple way.
Let's see. But I think Vampire kind of fall off really hard when Control gets stronger and stronger. He just can't move and do anything, and he has no anti-debuff mechanic, so he just kind of sit there. That's why he's just kind of underrated. He used to be pretty good in the Bruiser meta, where you can't kill him, and he get Wusa, he get Village to protect him, and he just never die. But now he just gets Control and die, which is kind of sad.
So I think currently, if you stun him and then you accidentally kill him on an AoE, and he like gets out of the stun, and he just does hella damage, stuns your unit, I think it's pretty good. So I think it's a good buff in general.
you see no attack by pushback, you can pick him, and then he just kind of be a threat right there.
Yeah, I think so as well, because you can run him on like very low HP and defense, and then just stack a lot of attack on violent. If he procs once, he's probably gonna kill a unit if it's armor broken.
True. And then some random Magic Knight buff that doesn't really do anything. And then Magical Archer
I don't know.
Oh, Magical Archer.
I don't know about these either.
Oh, really? Sad? They can stun now.
No. Instead of a sleep, but yeah, I don't really feel it.
But like, you have to hit something that you're gonna glance, so...
Yeah, exactly. So
and then when you glance, you don't stun.
Change anything.
Unless they make it so that when she glances, he's stunned. Oh, that's kind of nasty. But that goes against the game logic, though. When you glance, you don't stun.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing. So. A lot of people are getting hyped for Magical Archer Dark, who will now ignore defense based on the buff on herself. So when you have 5 buff, you're gonna ignore defense. But realistically, when you're gonna have 5 buff, right? So she probably gonna do, I would say, easily 50-60k. In the past, she was already doing that. But I mean, there are so many other options, right? That you can just need to give them attack buff, and they're gonna do good damage too.
Yeah, but it's also the last line saying the damage is adjusted according to the effect change.
I think they're gonna reduce it because it's easier to get.
Yeah, but because adjusting can be go up or down. It's just like a word of a change, but it doesn't mean if it's better or worse.
True.
So I don't really like it. Doesn't. I don't know what's gonna happen. So that's the weird thing for me.
I think the good thing about her is just that she's dark, so she's easier to use, and she has 120 base speed, so it's easier to be speed tuned. And that's about it. But still, her job is one shot, and there's plenty option in the game. So I'm not sure if it's anything crazy. But we're also going to some crazy change with Awakening. We have Dark Valkyrie with crit rate Awakening, which finally makes sense. Yep. I just resistant Awakening for damage dealer. Like, fucking come to us. Like, what do you?
Yeah, that's. I had one guy coming to my stream, or one person coming to my stream and saying like, if they awaken into resist, it means that instead of having a 50% resist check always, it becomes a 40% resist check always. I mean,
that makes sense.
Wait, that's I tested it. It's not, but it would be cool. Interesting to do. But then some units would be pretty OP because if you have, no matter how much accuracy you have, you always get resist 40% of the time. Then units that awaken into resist are very OP that way.
So yeah, like Nyx will be, if you pair Nyx with that too, oh my god.
Yeah, that's some units goodness. That have. I hope Lulu doesn't awaken into resist.
Thank God it's a 2-star unit. They don't awaken into stats.
Yeah, good. Well, second away. Oh no, wait, it doesn't work.
We have one of the most hype thing about the balance patch: Fire Desert Queen, Speed Awakening.
Yeah. I think that's pretty dope because in general you can rune her on slot 6 accuracy anyways because she doesn't really need other stats. You could make her do some damage, but well, no one cares. I think she's also useful for arena defense. Just besides RTA, like sure, RTA she can be useful if she doesn't resist, which is still the issue. But arena defense, most of the arena offenses still use wind unit either for setup or to finish. Like pretty much any arena offense has a wind unit. Either it's Tiana, a Bernard, a Lucian, a pungbaek. She has good potential to reset those. And because people are afraid of it, they're not gonna attack you. And therefore you already win. Because arena defense is all about not being attacked rather than winning your defenses. I think for the first few weeks people are going to be scared of it. You could just use it.
So like Samav, Triton, Sekhmet +1.
I prefer Vanessa over Samav pretty much almost always. In this case it could work because Samav just opens you up to being Lucian like 9 out of 10.
But because we have now a Sekhmet that can reset the Lucian. Ooh.
Yeah, well, you still, Kabila's gonna super outspeed a
True.
What's it called? A Sekhmet anyways, because you still have like what, 5 more base speeds? Or 6? I think you have 6 more base speed because she starts at 99, so it's gonna be 114 against 120. You're still gonna lose that one. But It does give some other options to go. For example, if you go Samath plus Segment Carnal, you're not really gonna Lucian that, and then a +1. So I guess it gives some options, but in general, I like Vanessa more because it's just anti-Lucian.
So Vanessa, Segment, Trident, John.
Yeah, something like that, or Savannah's last slot, or maybe even like another like healer that does some damage or some stuff.
Ariel, defense buff.
Yeah, something. Well, the thing is, Segment also provides defense break on S2, so yeah.
It's pretty good. For RTA, you see her being more dominant as a sort of faster Oki.
Yeah, I guess so, but the issue is still gonna be the 15% check at the moment.
I used her just now on stream and she missed like 3 times. I'm like depressed.
Yeah,
Sad.
That's the thing. And I think Jubego made a video on her for like the AI, and she hits S3 on like 55% chance, which is not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. But RTA wise, I think you're gonna see it here and there. If they have really one unit that's really the key units that's gonna do everything in the team, the moment you
reset it,
reset that, it's pretty much already a win. So in that kind of scenario, yeah, I can see it work.
And also it's another unit to like scare cleavers because she's fast.
Yep.
And she reset.
Yep, totally.
Reset doesn't care about elements. So like she reset the stat and you're like, oh shit.
Yep, totally.
Tough, man.
And the moment that they have full non-will, you can even choose to put AoE cleansing.
True. So it's kind of a scary unit, but it's also scary to use because if you miss, then
it's one of those high risk, high reward units, because if you miss, she doesn't do too much in the fight, especially if there's immunity on the other side. So.
And usually
I think she will be used.
If you run Oki, the base speed of Oki kind of limits him a lot when you're trying to run like a Vio Oki to go in front of Ganny. But it's easier with her because now she got like fast base speed to run like a Vio or Despair Segment to go in front of Ganny. It's a bit easier. I think she's pretty viable for like either Vio, Despair, or Swift, honestly. Like for everything. She's, as long as you get good speed, accuracy, some additional damage and artifacts, and you're good to go. Pretty much. Very simple unit to use and good utility. And then we have the Dark Hell Lady with AoE strip defense break. Whoa.
Ooh, that's the biggest winner of the whole balance patch. 100%.
Really? Really?
Yeah, for sure, man.
It's a strip buff with a 50% chance. It's not that good though, isn't it?
No, but like imagine you put her on Despair. Her S2 gives attack bar push-up, armor break, strip, and stun potential. That's 4 things besides the damage.
True.
And it cycles that you can use it every other turn, but you pretty much use it while you get your turn anyways, like afterwards if you crit fully. Then you need 1 proc, you can do it again. So the cooldown on that skill is technically just 1 turn. That's really scary, crazy.
Huh? Nasty.
I think that's a very good unit, besides just being a reviver that puts a invisibility buff and resets all of the cooldown and does it AoE, because everything is an AoE reviver these days, no longer nigong special thing.
Yeah, I just realized that she revived everybody. I thought she revived one. But she revived everybody. And all skills available to use. Kind of nutty.
Does she make all skills available for all units, or only the one you target to revive?
Revive all allies and all skills are available to use. And they're invincible. Oh, that's so scary. I think she might be one of the best unit against Molong team.
Yeah, definitely. Because you have to kill her.
Yeah, and she's tanky. And she's a very mobile unit with her skill too. And
I think it's legit one of the best support units out there because it provides strips, armor breaks, stuns, potentially.
Yeah.
And that's
nuts. She got a good leader skill for defensive comm as well.
Wait, what's her leader skill? HP lead? Or,
No, defense. I mean, still something.
Oh, she has defense. Yeah, it's something. 44 defense lead. You're probably gonna find better, but her base speed is also 104, which is not that bad.
Yeah. Awaken to resistance. Oh. Shit.
Yeah, okay, we had that.
Imagine she awaken to accuracy. Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, I think she might be semi-difficult to rune if you also want to do damage on her, but then again, artifacts also boost her quite a lot.
And I think most Molong comm are very like immobile, stationary. So with her just going constantly and stripping your stuff and defense break and despair stunning you, it's gonna be annoying. And her skill
I
2
wouldn't-
has a harmful effect rate in skill up, so the strip might go up to like 60%.
Yeah. I wouldn't use her as main stripper. Like, for example, Molong is not a main stripper, whereas a Chiwu, of course, is a main stripper. So I wouldn't use her as main stripper that you expect. Like, if I use her as to everything is stripped, don't expect that. But as a side stripper, or against a team that's not full on immunity all the time, I think it's very legit.
Oh god, take this conversation out of context. Seiishizo has a side stripper. Oh my god.
You have a side stripper and a main stripper. Like,
shit, come on. Okay, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Relax.
Like you go different areas in the city, and this is your side stripper. That's your main stripper.
Okay, buddy. Chill. But yeah, she's pretty legit now. They buff a lot of cool stuff, huh? I like that.
I think she's gonna be very used. A very used stripper. Wait, what? Okay,
oh shit. Okay, buddy. And then we have Archangel 100 base speed now, which is kind of nice. They used to be dog shit slow, but now they are average. I think 100 is average.
Yeah.
Above 100 is like pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the at leader skill to guild content. Oh, Skydancer Water with a 28% speed lead. Kind of nasty.
That one is good, but I talked about with quite a lot of people, and we're still saying I think Carcano is still gonna be the main speed leader in
defense.
On defense. But I do think it gives because Carcano most of the time, because you only have 3 units, you need one of each element kind of, unless you use a light and darks. But the fire slot is already taken by the unit that also has the speed lead, so you cannot really put Carcano plus a Shina or Carcano plus a Clara. It's often not that good because you have double fire. That opens up with Miyang, Shina, Martina, for example. I think if you fight a lot of those, it's going to be very difficult. And there's probably some other options with that could be very annoying.
But Miyang, Shina, Martina, wouldn't that get Lucian? There's literally no
Yeah, true. You could get Lucian, but you still have to outspeed a pretty fast unit because you lose 4 in the speed lead. Let's say you go Galleon,
Bernard, Lucian.
Galleon, Bernard, Lucian. Then that team is already lower on the damage because your Lucian has to be pretty fast, scale to your Bernard. Let's say someone does his fastest runes on the Shina. You need to come up with your fastest runes on the Bernard because Bernard to Shina is plus 8 speed, if I'm not mistaken. It's 111 against 103, or is Shina less? I don't know. So you technically win by 8, but you lose by 8 because of the speed lead. You're only winning by 4. So if someone has better runes than you in Swift, then you're losing. So I think you could Lucian it. Yes, you could Julie it. Yes, but it's not going to be easy.
What about Miyang Fire Triana? Like Miyang Can't
I think you're going to lack damage because you need an RNG armor breaker. You could even go Miyang Triana plus the Fire Skydancer, so you have RNG armor break in there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But so you pretty much use like all new units or all buffed units, let's say it that way. But it kind of lacks a strip, I guess. But I think there's going to be some potential. Her AI is apparently also dog shit. That's one
Clara
of the issues, though.
Win? How about that?
Yep.
That's pretty
good.
Yeah,
Miyang Clara Wind is pretty nice. It's the only thing like armor breaks, because armor breaks would only land on fire, depending what your wind unit would be. Or would land only on wind because of Clara, of course.
I think her AI is... Yeah, her AI is pretty shit, right?
Yeah, AI is pretty shit. And the S1 is very lackluster for the Skydancers. It doesn't do much. So...
And it's funny how they give the Skydancer Fire defense leader skill instead of attack leader skill, like that she
I also don't get the defense leader skills. Like, are you planning to copper that or so? Wait, what, attack buff?
I mean, you get a bit more damage with attack buff, that's about it.
True, but yeah, I don't really see the defense lead now.
But I think they add more option, which is great, and they don't take away the other option completely. So you have options, and I think adding a speed lead option for offense team is also very important, because nowadays you have to Carcano into a Carcano, and now you have some other option, which is great. And she boosts attack bar when she's stripped, which is pretty good. So she's like a free to play Yonhong for guild content kind of deal.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be pretty useful.
And then another speed leader, which is going to be Epicon Priest. For Arena, 20%, kind of nasty too. immunity
Yeah, I think
free
it's
to play
pretty good. Like,
Pontos?
yeah, if you pick it as like a 5th pick, it's pretty useful, I guess. If your whole team is no speed leads yet, and you draft it in as a 5th pick with a speed lead, I think it's pretty useful.
I'm debating building multiple Chloe too, because I think it's quite simple to build a Chloe. You can go either Swift because you are scared of cleavers and you want some sort of anti-cleave option. And this is, if you buff, you pretty much win immediately. And you have a Vile build, like normal support, healing, immunity build. And then you also have a Nemesis Will build to deal with the Water Ryu strip. So I think at least everyone should have a Chloe or two for different
Yeah, I think Chloe could be like one of those niche picks you don't pick too often, but it can instantly win you the match,
And she's just good. And because she's fire, if you're fighting a lot of wind, I think Changpeng cannot push her back and reset her that easily, compared to using like a Lulu or Shushu that can be pushed back easily. So and she's a speed leader, and that gives you some sort of balanced playing field against a speedy control comp as well, instead of like getting shit on by speed all the time. So they're giving a lot of option in this balance patch, and I think it's great. It's
they're not normally with balance patch they took away a lot of options and they created a few new, but with this balance patch they create a lot and they don't really take away that much. So I really like this balance patch for that reason.
Yeah, like the buff was narrowed down to the things that people complain about a lot.
Yep.
And they opened up a lot of options. I mean, they didn't buff everything. Like the people crying about Christina, Omniyoji, but they did a lot of stuff.
To be honest, I think you would get a very messy meta if everything gets buffed. So
yeah.
Especially since SWC is still upcoming and that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be that happy if everything suddenly got a weird ass buff. So
true.
But even as a normal player, it takes quite a while to actually, let's say the Skydance are buffed right now. How long does it take before people have like one Skydance and max skilled if they don't have Skydances in their storage? Or anything like that? It takes quite a while because of resources to actually follow up on the meta. And therefore metas are still changing. Whether there's actually balance patches or not.
True. Like meta change every other season, no matter whether you complain.
Yeah.
Like people who say meta never change, you don't play the game. Like
exactly.
You just don't play the game. Meta has changed almost every other season. Like even though it may look kind of similar, because let's say half the unit get used differently, and the main ones still get used. Like people say like, oh, I see Ganny since the game began. Yeah, Ganny's still there, but there are like 5-10 other options, not just Ganny now.
So it's no longer first pick Ganny, and it was a season that was first pick Ganny. So actually every first pick except for Sierra, which is just a general first pick that was never extremely strong, every first pick has kind of been buffed or nerfed at some point.
So with EU Cup coming, would you like to expose some small theory crafting that you might use? Don't worry, dude. EU play, don't watch my video. This is fucking 1 hour mark already. Nobody watched until here, dude. Don't worry.
No. But people, there's always 1 or 2 people watching, and it's like, dude, watch this. Look at this. He said this and this. So no, I'm not gonna give any.
No.
But for me, it's for me, it's more like you can speculate a lot, but in the end, you just have to test if something works or not.
What do you think someone else in EU Cup is gonna bring in? Like predict.
I don't know. In EU Cup, we're not. Like we don't see that much. we don't see that much weird stuff we're not used to yet, mostly. So
the only weird person is Livid. That's about it.
Livid is using kind of a weird comp. Obabu's kind of using a weird comp, but that's mainly driven by LDs. So that's just an LD comp, I guess. Livered is kind of on the weird bruiser comp compared to like most of the other players you have, but hey, if it works for him, it works. So nothing to complain about that.
Triana, Vanessa, and Annabelle.
But actually, his comp also pretty much is LD driven because his final 2 picks are LD5s, being
Akroma and Leona, right?
Yeah, Akroma and Leona, and they work really well together with Vanessa, Triana, Annabelle. So because of that, he is enabling that comp. And the same for Obabo, for example. He's using certain comps which really work well with his Han
Bella?
and his Bella. So I think the people that have like more, let's say, not super OP LDs, but the weirder LDs, they make it work somehow. So and that's kind of their draft style and their play style. And yeah, I guess we're gonna see something of that. And
they,
we do
they
have
buff
some
Livered.
people.
They buff Acroma.
They buff Livered with Acroma. Yeah, there's like a bunch
Vanessa
of people.
too. He's also Vanessa.
True.
Main. So
True,
nice
true. That's actually pretty interesting. Yeah, for him, it's a pretty solid balance special. I know that Shen has Trinity, but I don't really expect him to use it.
Imagine.
Who else? Felicity has Artemil, which is also buffed, but that one could be used. I think Artemil has always been a good 5th pick. So
when they don't have stun, then suddenly that guy come out and it's like, oh god damn it, it's not Artemil.
Yep. Yeah, Artemil like
Genny Changpeng double strip, and then you see Artemil, you're like, oh really?
Yep. No, but like imagine a team with like Leo, Vert, Ragdoll, and then something, and your Artemil is like constantly stunning the whole team and doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, that can be hella annoying too. But it's rare to see him nowadays. It's kind of rare.
Yeah, it's kind of rare, but as a 5th pick, I think Artemil is very good. And I would just, if I had an Artemil, I would just draft or like build it on so much damage possible that he just 2-hits units. So
I think because Molong is just so popular, it's hard to bring those tanky unit in and not get one shot by Molong.
True.
Molong's too good, huh? What do you think Molong came back all of a sudden last season? Because he kind of took a dive for a while and then he just like, hey, I'm back.
I think it's artifacts mainly. Because artifacts enable you to do more damage on an X element. Let's say you want to kill Trianas, Lulus, Kinkies, Artemils, those kind of things, depending on what you play most, depending on your own drafting style. But besides that, also the additional damage artifacts is S1 is a multi-hit, S2 is a multi-hit. That does a lot of damage. So I think those combinations and also getting more popular for being a vampire Molong is kind of what's added up for Molong to come back, because you can literally stack a lot of life drain plus vampire on Molong and you take no damage from your S3.
Artifact just changed a lot, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
But you think
artifacts also remove
damage? Oh wait, really?
Well, yeah, artifacts
because
just remove.
What do you CC and do no damage when you can CC and do damage, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but also there's no artifact that really does anything useful for a Hathor. Because accuracy S2, S3, you're already gonna be max accuracy. True. So, yeah, that's one of the. You could go 100 res, lack a little bit in accuracy, and therefore use a Hathor. Maybe it's still usable. It's not insanely bad, but they're just better options.
I mean, there's some G3 use like Vanessa, Genny Hathor, and Gianna a lot, and they just kind of straight up buff that comp with the Vanessa buff. I mean, Vanessa, Genny Hathor, Gianna. And it's like, oh, the Vanessa's like pretty stacked now, which is pretty good.
Yeah, Vanessa's pretty good right now.
Interesting, yeah. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to add for the balance patch? Can't wait to see.
No, I think it's pretty much it. The only thing I'm curious about right now, because this is a balance patch that happened after 3 months. So are people expecting a similar style balance patch with this much addressing within 2 months? So
2 months gonna be middle of season kind of thing, right? So
yeah, also that. So I'm not really sure like how they're gonna fit that in. I think 2 months is gonna be just after SWC, because SWC should be in November, like the finals. So yeah, I'm very curious to see like how they will address it, or if they will address this much, or like how will it fit in with the time schedules. Is that just after Siege tournament? I guess it's that. But
I think they should just do like big small kind of deal.
Yeah, something like that. But
because you still need these kind of big one to shake the meta, or else it's not gonna happen.
True. But the thing is, if you do a really good round right now, you set the bar pretty high, and then if your next one is worse, shit, people are gonna be complaining. Well, people always complain anyways.
Yeah.
But I think in general, this is the most positive response on the balance patch we had like since ever.
Yeah, a lot of people are praising it actually, which is kind of
nice.
So
yeah, that's good to see. So they actually,
it's hard to top shit unless you really love your Lulu. Then I guess.
Yeah, but well, actually, they always say the thing like we played close attention to your opinions.
Yes.
In this case, I say they actually did.
Yeah, like some of the change were exactly what we keep talking about. Like, oh my god, can you get Lulu cooldown, get +1? They actually did that, like exactly what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So
nerf Kakano after they give out a skin for high rank. Like, oh shit. A lot of.
Well, I think for Kakano, we didn't address Kakano that much, but I think Kakano for himself, he will still do the same amount of damage because the armor break still hits. I think having more accuracy on Kakano is more important right now. But I think only the units that are next to Carcano, they are gonna deal less damage because of the one turn.
The
defense
trainer,
break.
the Vigor is gonna suffer a little bit. But if he violent prop pop you again, you still gonna die anyway. It happens a lot.
I think Arcano is still very strong, very meta for defense, and offense as well.
It's just a very simple unit to use, just like onimusha. It has defense break that ignore elements. It does a lot of damage. It's kind of tanky. It has speed leader. Like, it's just a complete package of a unit that you just need to have more of it, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's about it for us today. Oh my god, an hour plus. Thanks so much for the time, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, that's gonna be it for us for now. We can't wait to see. Like, there's a lot of things to test, to have fun with. So let's wait and see. It's probably gonna happen in 3-4 days, I suppose. And
I think on the Monday. They say the 4th of October already. I guess that's the Monday.
Yeah, after the APAC Cup. So hopefully we'll see patch on Monday, and then you're gonna see 20 billion YouTube video from SeanB and Jubago again. And that's about it for us today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you watch until here, I don't know who you are, but hey, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye.